I am Reverend Larry Mercer.
And I'm Sister Mercer.
We'd like to take time now to invite you to watch Unity and Faith
with their first anointing,
good gospel videos, and a word from the Lord.
And you be blessed.
Unity and Faith. Unity and faith.
Good morning and welcome to Unity and Faith program. Hi, I'm Keith B with KB Production. Get ready for a big gospel explosion going to be kicking off on Easter Sunday. Doors open at 3, program kicks off at 4. It's going to be held at the Greater Outreach Missionary Baptist Church right here in the city Meridian with Pastor Obadiah Clement as your pastor, featuring a group formerly known as the Gospel Lab. You don't want to miss them. Also, Marvin Brown and God's Anointed. The New Joyful Sound all the way from Selma, and Pastor James McGee and the Humble Spirit out of Thomasville, Alabama. This is going to be a great event, free admission. Listen, you need to come on out, bring the children. We're going to have door prizes and food, fun, and spiritual good time for everyone. Come on out. Sunday, Easter Sunday, that's right. 4 o'clock, doors open at 3, Great Outreach Missionary Baptist Church, right here in the city of Meridian with Pastor Obadiah Clement. You need to be there. Let's get ready to go to a video.
I feel good right now. Don't you feel good to me? I can't speak for you out there tonight, but I know the Lord has done it for me.
We're getting ready to go to a video from the group known as the New Joyful Sound from Selma, Alabama.
Mr. Ball, I'll do it for you. Listen.
Lord, I need you to come and make a way for me. I'm in need of you to come help me make it through this storm. I can't see my way without you in mind. That's why I call on you.
Anybody here feel like me?
Oh, listen, you brought me so many times. You were a friend of mine. I wanna tell the world that you're mine.
I'll sing, I cut it off.
I can't make it.
Do you hear me hard one time? Listen.
To fight my battle on my own. Oh yeah, oh yeah. But I find myself falling on my face, waving my hands, crying out, God, what can we do? What's really going on? I wanna tell you that you're mine. If anybody can hear love, cause I know depend on it, I can't make it. Can I say my verse one more time? I'm gonna come out with it. Lord, I'm all my own.
26 years old, sometimes it get hard, but listen.
I find myself falling on my face,
Waving my hands, crying out, my nigga. Believe what to your neighbor, to your neighbor. He was there. Yeah.
We get ready to go to the word, and I'll be right
It's so striking about being molded by God is the fact that I am quite conscious of what he's doing with me. I wish sometimes that I could be placed in some spiritual anesthetic state. And when I came to, everything would be in place. Am I the only one? And because we are so persistent in being what we want to be, he has to intensify the situation. Oh, I don't know how far to go. I'm not home, you see. sometimes I want what I want badly. And I never knew that flesh was so difficult to control until I met God. And the reason is I actually had no reason to measure the intensity of my desires, because before I met God, I didn't deal with it. Oh, I wish somebody tell the truth. Now that God has shown up and he requires certain behavior, I find I have this proclivity to resist. And consequently, because I resist, he has to mold me a little harder. And I'm conscious of the pain. I want to talk to somebody that wants to be revived. When you consider the insistence, you have to come to the conclusion then that all of us have to be chastened, because none of us walk in line with God simply by faith. What God does is he uses faith and chastening to bring us into where he wants us to go. And it seems to me that those of us that he loves the most, he puts us through whatever it takes. Oh, touch somebody, say you had to go through it. Oh Lord, the issues here that are surrounding is that sometimes I want what I want. I want it, God. Yes, I do. And I know you don't want me to want it, but Lord, you got to help me not to want it. And so consequently, because I go after this thing, he has to allow me to feel the whipping that comes from what I have to have. Oh, listen. And so consequently, what he does is he allows me, but he protects me in allowing me, so that I don't go crazy before he brings me back out. Oh, I feel the Holy Ghost in here. Touch somebody, say you had to go through it, or you've never been the same. You had to go through it for God to establish you and strengthen you and put you where you are right now. Because if God didn't let you go through it, you'd still be trying to get it right about. It is significant to understand this. I always, the next thing I wanted the Lord to do is Lord, disconnect the flesh. Please, just turn it off. But I found that what he does is he measures the strength of his anointing against the strength of the flesh. So he steps in my spirit, which is embedded in the middle of my body, and he says, I'm in here now, and I am going to put you through whatever you got to go through. Can I take it another further? See, sometimes you have to almost lose your mind to change your mind. And so the writer now says that any man who needs a high place before men has to take a low place before God, because he has now got to humble me in the situations that I choose. If I were to add to this, I would tell you that all of us choose our chastening. You are not chastened outside of what you choose to do. Oh, please help me now. Yes, and it's because of the process of your persistence that now has brought the situation to where you're in the hand of God. And he now is taking over the circumstance and the situation to mold you and shape you while you consciously see and feel what's going on. And the first reaction now then is for you to become defiant and angry with God, because your point of view is, if you knew it was out there, Lord, you should have not allowed me to do it, even when you were persisting anyway. Oh God, I feel it here. The Lord is not going to move some things for you to walk like you ought to walk. He's going to set you in the middle of the same old junk and cause you to move through it. And somebody's running after something that you're running away from, and they think it's all together lovely, and you're trying to get up out of there because you know the real deal. God had to let you go through it. He says now you must humble yourself, verse 6. And it's actually in the passive voice, which means that the subject of the verb is passive, in the hands of God. And he's saying now you humble yourself and let God act upon you, because you like to insist on certain behavior. So now he's saying, now don't get angry and don't get carried away. Just lay in his hand through this thing, because you have to suffer yourself to be humbled. You've got to allow him to work on you, to refine you, and to bring out the nuggets that's embedded deeply inside your spirit. And it's this circumstance, this process of persecution, and this process of having been brought into things because of your weakness is now going to give the opportunity to God, because if God does not use negatives to make us better, then none of us would be good at all. It is the negative that God uses to get us to crawl into his will and to stay where we ought to be. And so the exhortation then is that honoring God is humbling yourself in his hand. When you honor him, you simply say, all right, Lord, this is the way it is. I got myself in it. Now you work this process so that when I come to the other side of it, I will be one most powerful human being. The exhortation then has to be followed by comfort. He's got to comfort me now, because I'm in a situation that I know he can move, but he's allowing it to stay because my mind has not yet fixed itself that I will not go back that way again. So he's allowing the process to go a little longer, because while the process is going longer, I'm becoming more firm in my will that I'm not doing this again. Now I might be close to crazy, but God still holds my sanity in his hand, and he says, now let me handle you, because if I handle you, then you're telling me you trust the process I'm using. I have been in situations I wanted out immediately, but I wanted out to go back into something else quickly. Oh, I feel somebody here that knows what I'm talking about. But God held me in the situation until my spirit got power over my flesh, until I said to myself, devil, I will never again. I'm going to be established in your face. Oh, I feel his presence. It's this humility then that becomes a prerequisite for the exaltation. So what God does now is, in the middle of what I'm going through, he says, just stay there and I'll bring you out. Can I take it a little further? Sometimes your enemies are snooping, and they would like to destroy you. And God oftentimes, while he's working with you, he covers you. He covers you in the middle of what you're going through, so that your enemies don't even know what's happening. Because if they knew what's happening, they would have stepped forward and destroy you. But God covers you. Every now and then he checks you out to make sure you're still there. Every now and then he sends you a word and lifts your spirit. Every now and then he comes in like a flood. You had to go through it. The devil thought he had you, but you got away. And he can't get you no more, because you're strong enough to see a snake and know a rat when it's coming your way. I have learned that when the Lord is not working on things for me, he's working on me. Oh yes, I've learned. And so now he says, I know that in the middle of what you're going through now, you have some concerns. I know. Yes, Lord, I do. The first one is that you can move this thing now and let me go on with my life. That's my first concern. You can get it done now. But the Lord says, don't concern yourself with your concerns. He says, now cast all your cares. While you're being humbled, I have not taken anything from you. I put it in storage, but it's still yours. But now, so don't be concerned about whether or not I'm going to restore you. Oh, I'm going to restore you. You see, but I just want you ready so that the next time I don't have to put nothing on storage. Cause see, I want you ready so that the next time I give you something, you keep it. The next time I'll open a door, you walk in it. The next time I'll bless you with somebody, you'll be so glad you got somebody, you'll do the right thing.
But don't forget, Easter Sunday, 3 o'clock. Doors open at 3. Program starts at 4 at the Greater Outreach Missionary Baptist Church right here in the city of Meridian, featuring the group formerly known as the Gospel Heirs, along with the New Joyful Sounds of Selma, Alabama, along with the Pastor James McGee and the Humble Spirit, Marvin Brown and God's Anointed, and the Greater Outreach Mass Choir. You don't want to miss this. All going to take place Sunday, April 16th at the Greater Outreach Missionary Baptist Church, and we'll see you there. Bye.
I want you to stand up. I want you to receive